Now mainland team of Brexit advisors accept the EU's point that it must be open-ended, for an enduring solution, one of the people said. The proposal is for the whole UK to stay tied to EU customs rules as a so-called backstop, or guarantee clause. There would also be some new checks on goods between Northern Ireland and mainland Britain. Loading the problem for pro-Brexit camp in May's cabinet is that what is agreed as a fix for the Irish border could morph into a long-term status quo for the whole UK. Businesses have long called for the UK to remain in the customs union to ease trade with the bloc, an option EU chief negotiator Michel Barnier has repeatedly offered as a way out of the stalemate. In Parliament, the main opposition Labour Party is also pushing for a customs union. The thorny question of how to avoid a hard border between the UK and the Irish Republic has held up progress in Brexit talks since March. Time is running out for the EU and the UK negotiating teams to settle the terms of the divorce and sketch out the future trading arrangements before Britain leaves the bloc on March 29. A summit of EU leaders in Brussels this week had been billed as the moment when the exit agreement would be struck, but instead broke up with major issues still unresolved. The key question remains how to come up with a backstop for the Irish border. The new backstop would act as an open-ended insurance policy in case the overarching future trade deal between the UK and the EU does not avert the need for customs checks at the Irish border, one person familiar with the UK position said. The details still need to be worked out in the negotiating room, but British and EU officials believe the plan will be acceptable to both sides, the people said. Prime Minister Theresa May has ruled out holding a second Brexit referendum despite a growing chorus of calls. Credit. Bloomberg in Brussels on Thursday, reports began to emerge that May was ready to give ground on the issue. Irish Europe Minister Helen McEntee said May was very clear in saying that the backstop is an insurance mechanism and so can't be time-limited. You need to have it there and it can't run out after a year or two, and she very much agreed with that, she told RTE, adding to the pressure on May. The former head of Britain's Foreign Intelligence Service, John Sowers, warned on Friday that the country's security would be severely compromised if it left the European Union and called on voters to reverse the strategic mistake in a second referendum. May has consistently ruled out a second Brexit poll. Sowers made the comments in a speech in Salisbury, the city where a team of Russian military intelligence officers traveled this spring to attack a former spy, Sergei Skripal. Not mincing words, he said Russia's President, Vladimir Putin, now feels free to treat Britain with contempt because, in the age of Brexit and a fraying NATO alliance, it is isolated from its Western allies. A former head of MI6 says Russia President Vladimir Putin, right, would not have dared attack former spy Sergei Skripal in, for example, Germany. Credit. Aprasia poisoned another Russian, Alexander Litvinenko, in London in 2006. Sowers said it would not have staged another attack had it not perceived Britain as weakened. I don't believe Russia would have used a nerve agent on the streets of an American or German city, Sowers said. The consequences would have been too great. The operation would not have been authorized. But Russia was willing to treat Britain with contempt, he added. Our very weakness, as a result of Brexit, as a result of fraying transatlantic ties, was an attraction for Russia. The weaker a country, the more attractive a target it is for bullies. Bloomberg, New York Times.